Yeah, let's go ahead. We're rolling.
We're rolling? All right. So, hey, welcome to the Gotta Have Miami show, podcast, whatever the heck it is. It's Ash and Jav here. And actually, behind us, you're going to see City Hall. And hopefully our podcast will always involve some type of political topics that affect local real estates. Here comes the bus, here comes the bus, here comes the bus. They call it a trolley, but it's still a bus.
It's still a bus.
It's still a bus. It's a free bus, but it's still a bus. So today's a very, very interesting meeting. And by the way, this is our 6th podcast.
5 in January, one in February. February's a short month, so you know.
We've been busy too. So the podcasting thing has been a little bit slow. But as I was mentioning, today is a kind of special meeting in the city of Miami, City Hall. And what it does is it's going to be dealing with redistricting. So this is a topic that comes up every 10 years. And it's based on the census, and it is a constitutional requirement to be able to review the districts and then actually change them, add them. And it's really about population and how many people are going to be in each district and make it equitable for the voting. So City of Miami, which is a municipality of Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade County already went through its redistricting, and the state of Florida went through its redistricting, and we actually picked up an extra district, which is 113, which is going to now come in between Brickell and Coconut Grove. But one of the interesting parts is the city of Miami is its own municipality. It has to redistrict through 5 districts, and we have about 460,000 individuals. And what's happened in the last 10 years, which is affected by real estate, is that our district, District 2, which represents Coconut Grove, Brickell, and parts of all of downtown, obviously has grown immensely.
Yeah.
So what they have to do is they have to balance out the districts by eliminating people from one district and then actually dividing them into the other districts. So District 2 picked up over 35,000 new residents.
And funny, these are 2020 numbers, so these numbers really aren't even accurate.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that we're going to talk about, in the future, is that I think these censuses have to anticipate future growth in a way that makes it a little bit more equitable at the end of the day. But the topic that we're dealing with today is that 35,000 people have to be taken out, approximately, have to be taken out of the city of Miami, out of District 2, and dispersed between Districts 3, 4, 5, and 1. And that's one of the challenges here, because what ends up happening is you may be improving some of the neighborhoods and not dividing them, such as your Silver Bluff, where you live.
Correct.
So where you live, you have representation. The Silver Bluff area has representation through 2 commissioners. And actually, if you go down to where my mom's house is that would be 3 commissioners, because that's part of District 2. So what happens is a lot of times you can become a little bit more equitable and start to unite neighborhoods. And that's really one of the things that's going to happen today with one of the conversations. District 4 is actually going to pick up where mom's house is, which makes sense. But District 3 is coming over the boundary line of US 1 and coming into Coconut Grove. And also District 4 is picking up a little bit of Coconut Grove. And that's where it's becoming a little dicey, and that's why this meeting is here. And if you were to go into the meeting, you're going to see a lot of Grovites that are very, 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 very upset about the diversification of it.
They're upset because they're going to have to answer to more than one person, more than one commissioner.
3 commissioners. And now there's an advantage and there's an opportunity. We actually then would have a voice in 3 elections, which would make it interesting. But they're really would make it very, very interesting. But at the end of the day, there's still not enough votes out there. So today's meeting is really about trying to realign and discuss some of the opportunities that we have out there to do a proper redistricting. In other words, that we're not going to cross the US 1 to come into Coconut Grove and divide it between, as you mentioned, 3 commissioners, which would become tricky.
And my concern about splitting up the Grove is that the Grove has like an obvious, unique sort of traits to it. If you split up the commissioners, the districts, you have different commissioners, does that change zoning? Does that affect zoning in any way?
Not really. We're not going to affect zoning. What it does is affects the actual how we as Coconut Grove communicate our needs and our desire, our so much desires, but our needs. We have a Coconut Grove Village Council that represents all of Coconut Grove. So that now would have to go through 3 commissioners to try to get something done. We have the ability, we have a CRA, which is a community redevelopment agency working, and all of these items now would be divided into 3 districts. And I think that is the troubling issue for Coconut Grove residents. And then there's another topic which we mentioned, and most of the growth, which is really interesting, most of the growth has happened on the north side, downtown.
Right.
All that. So what's happening is they are, in Coconut Grove, we really haven't had that much development. We've had Park Grove that came up, and we had the Twisted Sisters, but a lot of those haven't really added a lot of bodies.
Correct.
As opposed, so one of the concerns that we have from Coconut Grove, why are you penalizing Coconut Grove and splitting us up, when really what you should be looking at is the north side and then dividing condominiums, which are actually pretty easy to deal with.
Right.
So I think that's really a simple matter that we can do.
Right.
So any other concerns about some questions and stuff?
Well, I think that Coconut Grove is mostly single family, so it makes sense that the growth wasn't really here, because that would require more people having to sell and move, and then you aren't growing, you're replacing.
Right.
So all the new development is in downtown and Coral Gables.
Yeah. And
so why leave Coconut Grove alone?
I know, right? Leave Coconut Grove alone. And also future growth, as we project as real estate agents, we understand that District 4 is going to take a great deal of growth. District 5 is going to grow exponentially because it's going to be huge with all of the projects that are going on there.
Yeah.
And I think those are things that we really have to get to the consultants and then let them understand that the Grove really doesn't have much more to go, and especially our side. And I think that's critical that they concentrate on kind of leaving our population alone and depopulating some of the other areas that are going to be growing through the next 10 years. And I think that's critical too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, it's going to be exciting. You'll be hearing about this in the next couple of, definitely the next couple of weeks, because the final decision is on the 11th of March.
Yep.
And it's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be a very, very hot topic, especially for Coconut Grove. And again, we promise one thing. We promise another podcast in February. How about that?
Oof, we'll have to squeeze one
Right,
in.
we'll have to squeeze one in on
month.
the 28th. We'll get one back to you. So again, thanks for tuning in. Ash and Jav, Gotta Have Miami. And we hope you have a good weekend, and we'll keep you posted on this one. Peace.
One Grove.